Good evening everyone and welcome to Sugar and Crumbs with Nifty Nozzles. My name is Tracy Mann from Tracy Mann Cakes and I will be here this evening doing a demonstration on a pink Christmas. I decided this week that we do a pink and white Christmas chocolate themed cake, so that's what I'm going to show you this evening, and I'm going to do a square cake as well. Now I've done round cakes for the last few weeks, so I thought this time we will go different and we will do a round one, square one. I said I got that wrong then. We're going to do a square one instead. So we've got some options here. So I'm going to show you how to temper ruby chocolate. So we did ruby chocolate about 5 or 6 weeks ago now, so quite a long time ago. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm also, Kelly, I've just seen your comment. Yeah. Kelly's in. And also, so I'm going to do some tempering with the ruby chocolate. I'm going to show you, I'm going to put some white transfers on it, so some Snowflake Transfer sheets. They really do pop on this white. I'm going to show you how I'm going to paint the cigarillos so that we get a really nice kind of ombre, like dip dyed, I was going to use that phrase, is that right, Kelly? Dip dyed look on the cigarillos so that they are white and pink as well, because if they are the colour that we leave them for chocolate, they are yellow and they're going to ruin my design, you see. So we've got to do something about it. So we're going to be painting cigarillos as well. And that's, what else are we doing, Kelly? Oh, we're going to make a Christmas tree. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make a pink Christmas tree. Talking of which, Kelly, I can't remember what I did with those sprinkles. If you can have a hunt for those in a minute. She's now looking around the room. What did we do with them?
I know exactly what they are.
That's the only thing I didn't get ready. But anyway, we're going to decorate a 3D Christmas tree as well. So lots going on. We are going to be storming through this because if you're living in the UK, I've just seen somebody who's watching from Canada. We have the Great British Bake Off at 8 o'clock and it's the semi-final, so I've got to make sure I get finished for that, so you can all go and watch that. So we're going to crack on fairly quickly. If you do have any questions, Kelly is on comments tonight, so hello Kelly.
Hello.
So if you do have anything you want to ask me, Kelly will feed it back to me. So we will get going with our cake. So we're going to be doing a square cake tonight rather than a round one. So I did a round last few weeks. I thought we'll go different this time and we'll do a square. So there's my square cake there on camera, all buttercreamed, filled, and then ready for us to put our designs on. So we'll see how that goes. And we're going to be tempering chocolate. Let me take that down as well so we know where I am. And we're going to be tempering ruby chocolate. So ruby chocolate, also covered in buttercream, because absolutely everything's covered in buttercream at the moment. Right, this is ruby chocolate. So ruby chocolate is a pink chocolate. Thank you very much, Calabao, for doing that for us. That's very nice. You've eaten it, haven't you, Kelly? Mm-hmm. And Nikki's eaten it, who's on here, because I sent her some. And quite a few other people, I'm sure, have probably tried it by now. It's when it tempers, so we're going to temper that in a minute, it's a cross between white and milk. So it's not as short as white in terms of time. It takes, but not as long as milk. So it's between the two. It's a 47%, that's actually, it's higher than milk, 47% cocoa solids. So there you go. So that is what we're going to be doing. There you go. Jackie says it's very nice. So that's what we're going to be doing. I thought I'd do a square cake just to do something a bit different. And I'd say we're going on the pink and white theme tonight. So we're going against everything connected with chocolate because even though white chocolate is not white, it is actually a yellow colour. So that is a cigarillo and that is yellow. So we're going to turn that into a pink stick as well. So we've got a nice pink and white decoration. Then we're going to make a tree, a Christmas tree out of the ruby chocolate, and then we're going to pipe some, I've got my Nifty Nozzle out somewhere. What did I do with it? There it is. We're going to use this nozzle. Now somebody asked me about this the other week, what number it was. So before I put the buttercream in, because then I can't normally read it, it says 5L Nifty Nozzles. Russian tulip. Well, there you go, it's a tulip one. So that's the one I'm going to be using tonight. I'm also going to be using some Wilton Whitener. Now, I've just been on Carol's site just to check she's got any stock of this, and I can't see any stock. However, fractal white will be just as good for doing any whitening of buttercream, so that's another one you can look out for. And I'm going to be using, well, we've already opened it, as you can see. We are using Irish cream tonight, so we're using one of Carol's buttercream spectacular icing sugar.
Just watch, I've opened the top.
I know, I can smell it because I just went like that and there was a waft, Kelly. I could smell it, so that's the one we're going to be using. So don't forget, Carol's got all of the icing sugars, the whiteners and the nozzles on her site, so don't forget that, and her chocolate, and I've got the transfer sheets on mine, so hopefully we will go through it that way. Now I'm just looking around for my spatula actually, which I'm sure I dried up and put somewhere. What have I done with it, Kelly? I don't know, but we need that. It's very important. I've done some washing up, and of course, as typically, I try and be as organised as I can.
Here it is.
Have you got it? Oh, well done. There we go.
Washed up.
Right, okay. So let's start with the chocolate tempering and the transfer sheets, and let's get those done and in the fridge. And also the Christmas tree mould, which is over there. I need that, Kelly, as well. Thank you very much. So tonight I'm going to show you how to make a 3D chocolate Christmas tree using this mould here. So I'm going to show you how to use it. I've actually got one that's already set. So I'm going to be able to show you how to prepare one. Then I'm going to show you how to build one. So then we can start getting moving through the demonstration before we have to worry about the bake-off. So if you do use one of these moulds, this bottom one here does take at least half an hour to set. So when you do this chocolate tempering in here, please leave it in the fridge for at least half an hour. Otherwise you're going to find this one here is really, really difficult to deal with. So that's what we're going to do. Now this mould takes 270 grams of chocolate approximately, and I'm also going to do some transfer sheet panels to go around the side of my cake as well. So I'm going to temper a little bit more than I need, hopefully. I haven't got any scales with me, so I'm just going to look at it and hope I've got it right. So I'll be sure it'll be absolutely fine. So again, if anyone's interested in one of these moulds, they are on my website, but you will see them as we go through. So first thing we're going to do is, I talked to you about the transfers before we get that part done. Let me change my camera around so you can have a look at which one we're using tonight. So this one tonight we are using, this one is called Elegant Snowflake. Now there are 2 Snowflake transfer sheets on my website, so do not fall into the trap of picking the other one if it's not the one you want. But this one is called Elegant Snowflake, and this is the one we're going to be using. So you can see that it's white. If you've never seen one of these before, this is actually cocoa butter that's been sprayed onto a food grade acetate sheet in a pattern, and when you apply chocolate to it when it's hot and then you pop it into the fridge, it will set and it will pick up the pattern, and that's the aim of what we're trying to do tonight. So lots of people contact me on a regular basis and say, can I use this chocolate, can I use that chocolate? Basically like Tesco's, Lidl, all those kinds of things. I don't have a lot of experience using those kind of things because I tend to use Calabao because that's what we have here, and I know Calabao works. It's got a really good reputation for doing lots and lots of chocolate work. So my honest advice to you is that if you're going to do something like this, transfer sheets or a mould, do invest in your chocolate, because otherwise you are just going to be wasting your time, and it's actually better to spend a bit more on your chocolate than you are to sort of cut the corners, because if it doesn't come out the mould, or the transfer sheets will be wasted if they don't work. So it's really, really a good idea to see if you can actually, you know, use this chocolate. So Calabao. Calabao does milk white, dark, and ruby, which is what we're using tonight. So ruby is a really nice pink chocolate. Let's pop some in. I will show you in a minute. I'm not hiding anything, don't worry. Okay, this is what it looks like. Let's move the transfers out of the way. Okay, so that's ruby chocolate, and that's what we're going to be using tonight. So I've got enough in there to do a Christmas tree, and I've got enough in there to do some transfer sheets as well. So I've got a bit of everything going on here. And the only other thing I'm looking for, Kelly, is there a cranked palette knife over there? Can you go and have a look for me? No. Yeah, but that's got buttercream on it. Everything's got buttercream on it. That's just what it's like. The minute the buttercream comes out, that's it. It's fatal, isn't it? Yeah. Is there one in the sink? No? Okay. If you can give that one a quick wash, and then I can use that one in a second. That's it. Got my little washer upper here tonight. Haven't I, Kel? Right, okay, so let's get started. So we're going to do our chocolate tempering first. So if you're unfamiliar with this, we're going to be using the microwave. So it's a microwave method of which we will start with 30 seconds and then we will be bringing it in and out of the microwave 30 seconds to start with, then 10 seconds stir, 10 seconds stir. If you stick with that, you can't go wrong. If you don't stick with that, you have all sorts of problems. So very important. I'm just going to move this chair out of the way, otherwise I'll end up falling over. Which will be highly amusing, won't it, Kelly? Right, let's take that out to start with. So, microwave full power, 30 seconds to start with, just to give it a blast of heat to get it going. And then we're going to start doing this 10-second stir, 10-second stir. Now, for those of you that have not seen this before or don't understand the reasons why I'm doing this, it's to do with controlling the temperature of Belgian chocolate. So it's to do with very, very carefully increasing the temperature without overheating it. So we don't need to know what the temperature of our chocolate is for it to be tempered. We just need to be able to melt it nice and slowly and then be able to look at it. So now this process does take about 3 minutes. I timed it this week for doing tempering with ruby chocolate. Every time you take it out, 10 seconds stir, 10 seconds stir. So you have to keep an eye on it. And at the start there is very little to see. It is literally just the chocolate in the bowl, but very little is actually happening. It is melting, you do have to bear with it. If you start cutting corners and speeding it up thinking nothing's happening, it is all happening, it's just, it takes time. I always say to people, imagine if you put some butter into the microwave for 10 seconds, it melts really quickly. This is melting all the time, but because it's a different makeup, it's just taking longer more than anything else. So as you can hear, there's really very little going on at the moment. It looks exactly the same as what I put it in at the start. So you have to bear with me on this. We can't cheat, see? If I cheat, then we know it doesn't work. So that's what we've got to do. Isn't that right, Kelly?
Yes.
So we're just mixing to start with. It does seem to take forever when you first start. It goes on and you think, oh my God, eventually, suddenly it goes very, very quickly. Then you can start doing all the magic, you see. There's lots of comments going on about ruby chocolate. Mainly it's pink, and that's what we like, isn't it? It's a really good quality chocolate. It's Calabao, so it's going to be a really decent chocolate. And that's what we need to be able to do things like moulds and transfer sheets. Really important you use good quality chocolate. Again, not a lot to see at this point. If there's things to show you, I will show you under the camera, but at this time, there isn't, again, a lot going on. It is starting to dull. That's the first thing that happens. So when you first put your chocolate in the microwave, it's quite shiny. And as the process starts to go through, the first thing that happens is the buttons that are in there will start to go dull. So that's it.
What's the wattage of the microwave? We never really established this.
Yeah, we didn't establish this. And I think the reason we didn't establish this is literally because it doesn't matter. I think this is an 800, but don't get too hung up about this. You just need to follow this 10-second stir, 10-second stir rule. If you think, and there is one person who contacted me recently, if you think your microwave is too hot and you'll only find that out by trial and error, then what you need to do is just do it for less time at the start. So instead of doing it for 30 seconds at the start, do it for 20 or 10. But you'll soon work it out. We've got one microwave at home, I think, that's hotter than the others, and we have to be a little bit more careful with that one, but generally it doesn't matter. As long as it's on full power and you follow the 10-second stir rule, then you will be fine. You won't have a problem. So still much the same. It's getting there now. It's starting to, you can see it's starting to sort of stick to the bowl a little bit now, but there's nothing visually different. we're getting there. But once it's done, that's when we kind of leap into action for everything in terms of getting all these transfers and the Christmas tree and everything done. So we need to really sort of kind of go for it. So you need to be prepared, that's what I'm saying. If you're doing anything chocolate and transfer sheets, you need all your moulds prepared, you need all your transfer sheets cut out and ready to go, because once you start, it's very difficult to stop because the chocolate, any of the chocolate set really, really quickly. And I have had this on here many times when I have literally gone to do something and have found that it's set before I've had a chance to do it. Let me give you a quick update so you can have a little look, see what's going on. So that's where we are at the moment. So you can see there is a change. Okay.
How long do transfer sheets last once you have bought them?
Oh, they're great. If you buy transfer sheets, they will keep you going for the next 2 years. They're brilliant. You can literally just keep them in the packet we send them to you, roll them up and pop them in the cupboard. As long as you don't get, they don't get anywhere near light, heat or smell, they'll be fine. So literally just roll them up and put them in a cupboard. So even if you buy them this year and you don't use them till next year, they'll still be absolutely fine. They will be fine. That is one thing actually with the transfers, it's really good. You can just use them next year. And they are big sheets. Again, somebody said to me this week, wow, I didn't expect them to be this big. They're huge. They're 40 centimetres by 30 centimetres. So they're
A3.
They're A3 size. See, Art Kelly is telling me here, they're A3 size. They're huge. And you don't have to use them all in one go. And we cut little bits off, which is what I've done tonight. So when I do my demos, I can be using the same sheet. Obviously cutting little bits off, once the pattern's off then it's no good, but I will use the same sheet over several weeks. So yeah, you can do lots of things. You know, one week you might decide to do lollies, another week you might decide to do transfer sheets or a mould, so you can just cut them up and use them as and when. Right, so we're at this stage now. Let's have another little look, see where we are. There we go, that's where we are at the moment. So we can't do much with that at the moment, but you can see it's now changing. So the next few blasts of the microwave, it will change quite quickly. My spatula has gone in, if anybody notices that, because it's plastic and it's all covered in chocolate now and I don't really want it lying around anywhere. So it's okay to put it in the microwave, it will be fine. So we're nearly there. Keep going. So this method is really, really easy for doing chocolate at home. If you go onto Google or YouTube particularly, if you go into YouTube and you put in chocolate tempering, you will see all these chefs with these marble slabs and thermometers doing it in a very complicated way, and you just don't need to do it like that. This is so much easier and much, much better than trying to get a thermometer. You don't need a chocolate thermometer. In fact, if you have one, you'll be so wrapped up in what the thermometer is doing rather than actually looking at the chocolate and making some decisions that you go, I can see what that is. Then you know you can you'll learn so much more by looking at it and following my lovely instructions. And if you can't remember what my instructions are, once you've finished watching this, if you go over to YouTube, I've got a YouTube channel, and on there we go, I'm just going to show you where we are now. See, that's it now melted, but we can't do anything with it because it's got no flow to it, so we need to blast it with heat again. Well, I do have a YouTube channel, so if you cannot remember what I've said about tempering and you want a really quick video, there is one on there that is literally 2.5 minutes long that shows all of this speeded up, and you can get a reminder of how to do it. So it acts as a really good reminder. Oh, lovely, I think we're nearly there. So stirring is as important as heat. Very important. You've got to really make sure that you have mixed all of your chocolate together. And we're looking for the consistency of double cream, which we've near enough got. I'm going to give it 5 more seconds. So that's what I'm looking for, is the consistency of double cream. I'm not looking for consistency of water. So when you turn a tap on, the water comes out really fast and doesn't trail. With double cream, when you pour it, and again I'll show you on camera, you get a trail. So this is what you're looking for. Okay, can you see it's creating a trail? That's what you want, and you want to incorporate everything. So we're good to go. So let's get started. So we're going to do this very quickly. We're going to start with the transfer sheets, and we're going to make sure first and foremost that it's rough side up, which it is, and we're going to pop the chocolate, or some of the chocolate, onto the transfer sheet. Okay, so we'll start with this one. Are we on camera? No, we're not. We are now. Right, so we're just going to spread this over as fast as we can. Got a little bit extra on there, so we'll just move that onto this one. So let's get that all covered. Lovely pink colour. Okay, like so, and then I'm just going to lift it up. Just remove that out of my way and put that back down again. Turn it around and do the other one. So I have to work really quickly. You can see the chocolate is starting to go dull already, which is what we want. The reason I lifted it up and put it back down again is because I want to cut some shapes or some shards to go around my cake. So I need to be able to see where those lines are. I'm not watching any questions at the moment because I'm doing this, so I do apologise for a second. So let's pick that up. Right, we're going to move that out of the way. That there, and then what we're going to do with the chocolate that's left in the bowl, I'm going to, let's see if I can get this, there we go, on the screen. Let's just move that out of the way. Let's bring my camera forward a little bit. My camera's a bit far back tonight. That's better. Right, so I'm just going to take, because this one at the bottom is quite big, I'm just going to scoop my chocolate in and then bang that down like so. Again with this one as well, because this is also quite big. And this one, same again. Now for the other little ones, I normally just pop it into a bag, purely because there's a little star and it's quite difficult to do if you don't put it in a bag. So I'm just going to do that quickly. So I've got a bit of a piping bag. Right, Kelly, scissors. What? Oh yeah, no they are. Got them. So we have got the bottom of the tray, then the next one up, then the next one up. Then we have got, let's do this. I'll cut the end off here. We've got another one there. This is the base, so that's what the tree stands on. That's one of the top parts, and then there's a little star there at the end. So once you've done that, you bang this up and down like so, and then we'll send that off to the fridge. Now in the meantime, you can see this chocolate has set already, so we're going to cut, where's my ruler? Right, I'm just going to sit down for a second. So we're going to cut some pieces. Now we're going to make them 2 inches across. So this is now dry. Now we need to catch this before it dries out completely. So I'm just going to mark 2 inches across there, turn it round, and then I'm just going to score this, okay? So this does not go through to my board, so don't panic. Although it's not a pink one, it's a green one, so we're okay. It won't cut the board. All right, so I'm just scoring it, so I'm not cutting it really that hard. Okay. Now you need to keep the chocolate on the transfer sheet, because if you don't, it will peel off and then you'll lose your snowflake look. So that's one lot done. Let's turn it round. Right. And we're going to do it again. So again, 2 inches. Now you can pick whatever size you want to pick. I just picked, I don't know, 2 inches randomly. So if you want to pick or cut these out as different sizes, then go ahead and do something else. You don't have to follow this size. So again, it's got lots of flexibility there. I just pick this size because I just think it comes out quite well, this size. So again, just take your ruler, cut across, right, nearly there. So you want to work quickly, and that's the thing with chocolate, is that when I've said to students in the past, I've had them in the classroom and I've been going, come on, hurry up, and I have to say to them before we start that I'm not shouting at you because I want you to work quickly. I'm shouting at you because the chocolate won't put up with you dithering around. You have to do this as quick as you can. So there you go, that's done, and that's now going off to the fridge. So we'll pop that in the fridge now for approximately 15 to 20 minutes. So we'll stick that in there. Oops, if I can get in my fridge, that is. Just about. There we go. And we're going to leave that in there. Now, I've already made a Christmas tree tonight because I knew that it was going to take too long to set. So I'm going to go straight into assembling a Christmas tree. So if anybody is waiting for the Christmas tree, I'm going to put it straight up now. What I want to do though is just get rid of some of this chocolate that's everywhere. I'm going to put the other camera on so you can see it as a side view. Where are we? Let's put that there. Make it look glamorous. Right, what did I do with it? There it is. So we did one deliberately this afternoon, just so that we had everything ready. So I want to show you what that looks like. So that's what it looks like when it comes out of the mould. So you've got the large one there, that's the base part, and then you build it according to size. It's really straightforward. It isn't difficult at all. It's really, really easy. It's something you can do with your kids, something you can just do for fun. As say, we made these last year. I had people coming into class and bringing in their kids, and they would build their trees and sit there and decorate them for ages. So it's a really, really good activity to do with kids. They just love it, absolutely love it, don't you, Kel?
I'm not a kid anymore. I'm 20.
You like decorating Christmas trees,
I
though?
do like decorating.
You see, she does like decorating Christmas trees. She likes Halloween better than Christmas,
Yeah.
though, don't you? Okay, I'm just putting my bag in the microwave because it's just gone a little bit solid. So I've still got my bag of Ruby, and let me now show you what to do. So let us move these things out of the way. There we go. Right, let's build it on the board so we don't make too much mess. Okay, so we start with the base. So I'm going to turn that up this way. I'm going to put some chocolate on there, and I'm going to take the base and I'm going to press that down straight away. So you don't want to be holding on too long with this. Now the base does have a hole in it. Now somebody mentioned the other day about putting some sweets in there and filling that up. That's quite a good idea, isn't it, Kel? But what you need to do is just pipe some chocolate going around the outside edge here and pop the next one on. Again, just hold it in place. You can see it building really quickly, and then we'll go around again. And then pop that. Now, if you didn't want to make a tree as big as this, you can just leave off the bottom one and just do so that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 layers and the star. All right, so if you don't want to do one as big as this, you can do that. Save you a bit of chocolate as well. So if you wanted to make a few more. Okay, and then we're going to put another blob there. Like so, and then we're going to pop the little star on the top there. So if your chocolate's just been tempered, it will set really well. Now, should we do some decorating? Let's do some decorating. So I did say, didn't I, that it was a pink and white theme tonight. So we are going to be doing pink and white sparkles, sprinkles, or sparkles or sprinkles. They're all the same, aren't they? Mm-hmm. So I've got a little pack here. And what I'm going to do, now I'm going to need to stick them on with chocolate. I'm not going to do them all, I'll just do some. My tree is leaning marginally, there we go. So all I'm going to do, whoops, apart from throw them around, okay, is take that and stick them on like this. So I've got pink ones to start with. I'll turn them round as I go. So I've got a combination here of silver and pink. So just head your way around with them. If the chocolate's a little bit thicker at this point, it's much better than it is to have it thin. If you've got it thin and it's just been tempered, you can find that these balls tend to sort of roll about all over the place. So don't want to do that. Okay, so just put those down there. And then we will just carry on. So you can see it builds up quite quickly. Let me turn that one round. I've also got some really nice little white snowflakes. Okay, there. I'll put those on in a minute. They will really stand out. So hopefully you'll be able to see those better in a second. But we're doing pink and white. Okay, I'll stick those down there. Right, okay. My car key's on my key ring, Kelly. It's on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just got to go move my car. I think we blocked somebody in. That should be interesting. Don't crash my car, will you? Right. We carry on with my decorating. Right, so now I've also got these tiny little stars. Oh, not stars, snowflakes. You're going to see these well on camera because they really stand out. Little tiny white stars. Now the other thing you can do this as well, if you've got any spray glitter, that works well on blinging up your Christmas tree. So if you want to make it a bit more flash, you can always do that. Anything like that is fine. So again, just work your way around. You can see what's happening there. There you go. I've seen somebody saying they're late joining. That's fine, don't worry. You can always go back and watch these. So if you miss out and you've missed the start, you've got, it's on here. It's not going anywhere. So you can always go back and watch it tomorrow night. Even if you are watching the Bake Off or something, you can always go back and do it again. So don't worry about.
I'm back now.
You're back now, have you? Have you moved my car? Right, little snowflakes on there. See, look, I've done a good job decorating while you've been out, Kelly. Okay. Now as the chocolate starts to set, just squeeze a bit out back into your bowl if you're finding that it's starting to set. Look, we're nearly there. So pick whatever sprinkles you like. You can also make your own decorations. There's lots of silicone moulds out there with lots of different shapes on there. Bows, bells, all sorts of different things, and also loads and loads of different sprinkles. So you can make this your own. You can go mad with this and decide what you want to do to be able to make it your tree. I mean, in my house, we can now talk about my beloved Christmas tree.
It looks nothing like this. It's not nearly as well put together as this.
My tree, and I know there will be people that will agree with me with this. Now, my tree consists of memories from my children. So my children would come home from preschool and they would make me something really quite spectacularly falling apart and awful. But would I bin it? Absolutely not. Have I still got it 20 years later? Absolutely I have. Does it go on the tree every year? Yes. Are my children trying to bin it? Yes. But my tree is a bit of a disaster, but I don't mind. It's my tree and that's how I like it. So my tree doesn't look anything like this. It's not coordinated at all. So, but you can see the possibilities with this. You can see what you can do. You can build and put on any colour sprinkles you like, absolutely anything at all. So while I'm doing this, don't forget to like and share the page tonight. And then lots of other people can get involved in lots of Christmas decorations, can't they? Because it's that time of year now, isn't it? We're all heading in that direction. So let's turn it round. We're nearly there. I'm just going to put a few more snowflakes on. See, this is the thing with this. You could sit doing this for ages. Squeeze a bit more chocolate out. It's getting a bit thick.
Everyone's sending their Christmas stories.
Oh no.
I have 4 trees with different themes. Nobody's allowed to touch them. I'm nearly 60 and my mum has decorations from when I was at primary school.
Yeah, you see, this is it.
Mine still do 40 years later.
Yeah.
I'm the same with my tree. My lad's 30 and 26.
Yeah, I can't bin anything, and they stand there going, "No, Mum, what are you?
It looks horrible.
What are you hanging that on the tree for?" I had a lovely tree. We'll talk about my other tree. My other tree that I had for many years was my beloved fibre optic tree. And as Kelly said, that used to be the sound of Christmas because it used to hum, this thing, didn't it?
It also had a huge battery pack underneath it that would burn our presents.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, it was quite old, but I had this tree for a number of years, and then one year
it exploded.
One year it exploded, and Kelly says, "Oh, there's no longer the sound of Christmas," which was my humming fibre optic tree in the corner. But yeah, you've got to have. There you go. Look, I'm getting very carried away with this now. Look how lovely this tree is. Don't forget, when I finished everything tonight, I will be posting it on my Instagram page. So if you want to get a close-up look of what I've been up to, you can follow me on Instagram at Tracy Man Cakes, and you'll see everything on there. Look at this. We're having a ball here, aren't we? Oops. Now, if you just want to make an independent Christmas tree, so if you want to make Christmas trees and give them away to the neighbours, there are some boxes on my website as well. Clear Christmas tree boxes, so they're available as well to fit the trees. So if you don't want to put it on a cake like I'm doing tonight, then you want to just make loads of trees, then there's that option as well. There we go. Look at that. That is the most coordinated tree I think I've ever made. Kelly, what do you think?
I think so.
I know it's a bit unusual for me. There we go. How about that? I think that looks good. You can always put a bit of glitter on it, can't you, if you want to? So if you have any dusting glitter, edible glitters, you can use those as well. So let's just put on the last few snowflakes because I'm enjoying myself. I've been here a while now. Let's put that one up there. Ah, there we go. Trouble is, every time I look at it, I see another gap, you see, so.
And stop.
And stop. There we go. Right, okay, so that's our tree. So that's going on top of our Christmas tree tonight. Our cake.
In the Christmas tree kit, what do you get?
Do you get a box in the kit? Yes, you get 3 boxes in the kit because that makes 3 trees. So you will find, you can buy the boxes individually. You don't have to buy the boxes or you don't have to buy a kit. You can just buy a mould, you can just buy your own chocolate, you can buy your own boxes separately. All there is, it's all together in a kit as well. Right, let me move this out of the way. Right, being careful, obviously. And we're going to do something with the cigarillos now. So let me gather these. Whoops. Okay, right. So what we're going to do now is I would like to use these on my cake. Let me change camera. However, they are not white, okay? They are yellow. And that is because they're cigarillos and white chocolate is not white. People say white chocolate, but it's not. It's actually yellow. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to paint them. So you can paint cigarillos, you can change the colour of them. We all know what we're going to be doing that with. We're going to be getting the cocoa butter out, Kelly, which I have conveniently left over there, I think. Is the bag. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. So in order to paint any form of chocolate, you do need to be using cocoa butter. It's really important, and you must do it with cocoa butter. If you do it with gel or paste or anything like that, you will be able to paint them, but it will fall straight off. So we're going to do it with cocoa butter, and we're going to do a slightly sort of ombre effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint the lower half of them sort of a darker pink, and then the other one at the top a lighter pink, so like this one here that I've already painted. So let's go for that. So what we're going to do is for cocoa butter, let me bring this in so you can see it. I'm sort of squashed against my chocolate bowl here. Let me move that out the way. So I paint these in blocks. It's much easier than painting them individually. There's a nice top tip there for you, because if you paint them individually, it takes twice as long. So if you do want to paint them, put them all together, and you will find as well they've got seams that run down the back of them here. What you want to do is turn them over so that the seam is on the back, because that's the bit that's going to go to the cake, okay? So we'll pop those down. Like so. Now this is the chrome food warmer. Now I don't sell these, and neither does Carol, but they are on Amazon and they are called a chrome food warmer. And all I'm going to do is just light the candle in the middle and pop a metal paint palette on the top there so that I'm able to melt my cocoa butter. Okay, so this is my cocoa butter that I'm going to be using for painting. So it's just little buttons like that. Actually, I overflowed this the other day. Let me just move these around a bit. I put too many in, I got carried away and it flooded on screen. So let's do slightly less. And I'm going to be using two colours. I'm going to be using white and I'm going to use dusky pink. So these are the two colours that I've picked. Now they are dusting colours.
How many Cigarillos come in a packet?
I believe it's 140. Now the sell-by date on them is quite long actually. What the white ones there? They're 2021 definitely. I think they might be. I'm trying to see. My I've had slightly stronger glasses, but I think they're October 2021. So they will last absolutely ages. So don't worry about, you know, if you do some for this cake and some for another cake. There is a little guide on the page that they're on my website. There's a little guide there as well that tells you how many per cake. So you can kind of work out what you can do then. So what's happening here is the heat under here is making this metal paint palette warm, which is in turn melting the cocoa butter. See, it's just starting to melt now, and then we're going to be able to paint our cigarillos using our paintbrush. Now, I could paint the whole thing. I could paint all the cigarillos, but there seems no point in doing that at all when only one side is facing. I can always go back later on and just touch them up if I want to make sure there is absolutely everything covered, but I'm just going to paint one side and that's it. So that's why I've got them down like so. Now I've already pre-painted quite a few of these to make sure we get through in time. So that's why I've only got a selection of them here. So all we're going to do, so I've been painting earlier today, is I'm using my paintbrush number 3, so or any paintbrush is fine. And you're going to dip it into the cocoa butter and pick up some of the dusky pink colour and just start mixing it. Now you don't want the paint to be too thin, so you want to have a fair amount of dusting colour versus cocoa butter. You see the two mixing together.
If you don't have a heater or the metal paint palette, what else could you use?
Right, very simply, a glass bowl filled with boiling water and a plate over the top, like a china plate. Just don't use your best china, obviously. Now, the difference between this and the method I'm just talking about is that every 20 minutes you'll need to reboil your kettle so that you can, you'll need to keep your cocoa butter hot. That's all you'll need to do. So this tea light gives me a constant heat source, whereas the hot water you will need to keep boiling the kettle. That's the main difference anyway. So yes, absolutely try that to start with, no problem at all. In fact, you can paint that way. I know lots of people do paint that way all the time. I just prefer, once I'm in the zone, to stay where I am. So this is my chocolate here. So all I'm going to do at the end of the cigarillos, you can see there's like a little spiral, so I've put them all facing that way. I'm going to take hold of my colour and I'm just going to paint the lower half of the cigarillos. I'm just going to let my brush fall between the cigarillos as well, because I didn't want these cream ones clashing with my lovely theme tonight, you see, so we've got to paint them. I'm not going to use loads, I'm going to use them in between my Snowflake transfers. But I thought you would like to see that there is the option here to change the colour of cigarillos. You don't have to put up with them being white or milk or dark. You can use luster colours as well, so if you wanted to make them, especially on the dark ones, not so much on the white ones, but on the dark ones you can paint different lusters. That works quite well. Sparkly ones. The luster colours actually go on really well. Now we've got a luster pink called Ice Pink Sorbet, but it clashed hideously with ruby chocolate, so we had to abandon that one and go for dusky pink instead. Now these will dry matte, because matte is this is the shade that I've picked, but if you pick a luster colour they will dry with a little bit of a sheen on them. So still with pink on my brush, I'm now going to pick up some of the white dust, so I'm just mixing those two together. So I've got sort of a pale version now. Let's just turn them around. Of course, they're all going to move all over the place, aren't they? Right, let's turn them back round. I shouldn't have done that, should I? It's because I'm painting in the opposite direction. There we go. That's fine. We'll work around that. That one's twisted around anyway. We've got to go back and overpaint them anyway. So all we're going to do here, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of kitchen roll and I'm going to just put that over the top to hold them steady, And then I'm just going to blend in some pale pink. So make sure it's not too watery. You do want, or full of cocoa butter. You want to make sure there's plenty of paint in there as well, and blend them together. So if you're going to do a cake using something like this, I do recommend you do these Cigarillos in advance. I say I've already done the majority of mine. I hope I have anyway. If I suddenly start putting the cake together and my calculations have gone adrift, I might have to paint a few more or get Kelly to do them, one or the other. So I'm hoping I've done the right amount, but we'll find out, won't we, when we start putting it together. We're winging it. So just blend them together like that. Now you'll see that they will have kind of stopped at a bit of a line. So what I will then do, let's take that off so you can see there that they are in half. So I'm just now going to go back to the darker colour, and I'm going to, while they're still wet, is blend this back again, like so. Now you can do them at all different heights, it doesn't matter. It's your cake, so you do what you like the look of. So if you want to do them halfway, that's great. If you want to do them all pink, that's also fine. Mine, don't forget, mine are pale pink. They're not white, they're pale pink. If you paint these white, they don't look quite right. I didn't really like them painted just white. I thought they looked better painted pink, and actually with the design they look better painted pink. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so, and Cigarillos, or rather cocoa butter on Cigarillos, takes 1 to 2 minutes to dry. You can see already this side's dry in the time that it's taken me to do the other side, so it is pretty quick. Make sure they all stick together as well if you're not careful, so just pull them apart. The cocoa butter's drying and holding them all together. But I've got a rough covering. As I say, once I put them onto my cake, then what I will do is I will paint them a bit more. So you could do 3 colours. You could do a lilac, a pink and a white, or a very pale pink. You could go much darker. You could do cerise pink at the bottom, leading to this colour, leading to this colour. So it's got loads of possibilities. Now, the only other thing I haven't done is I haven't painted the top of these. And the reason I haven't painted the top is because I'm going to pipe on the top of this cake with some really, really white buttercream. So there seems no point in doing it. However, if I put them up against the cake and I think that I will need to do that, then I have got my paint palette ready, and I will be able to just pick my paintbrush up and fill them in from there. So I'm just going to move these now. So I'm just going to put them onto some kitchen roll. Move these out of the way. Doesn't matter which way round they are particularly now, because they can just go off and dry. I'm going to move my paint palette out of the way as well. We're going to bring the transfer sheets out now because they've had plenty of time to set in the fridge, and we'll have a look at those. Well, I hope they have anyway. They look like they were setting. I think we're going to be all right. Okay, so we did these approximately 15-20 minutes ago. So we're going to now have a look. So I scored the lines. There we go. And that's the pattern it's picked up on the transfer sheet. So we can very carefully pick them up. So if you want to cut very specific shapes, then what you need to do is you need to do them whilst the chocolate is still soft. If you leave it till after the chocolate is set, when you go to cut it, what will happen is it will splinter. So it's really important, if you want to do anything like this, do it before it sets, okay? So there we go. Now the edge here, this edge here is the very edge of the transfer sheet pattern. So just keep that in mind if you do anything like that, just to watch out for the end of the transfer sheet. I probably won't need all these sheets, but I've done them anyway, so that's fine. I wasn't being too fussy about it. Okay. So very carefully with them, just turn them over. So we've got lots of nice pink colours. It's very pretty, isn't it, on the ruby? Let me hold that up so you can see. So if you use a white transfer sheet on ruby or dark chocolate or even milk, it really shows up. If you use this on white chocolate, you're not going to be able to see it very well. It will actually sort of blend with everything and you've kind of had it. So that looks really smart, and you can really see the detail. Just remember, this is the Elegant Snow transfer sheet. Be careful because there are two on my website, in case anyone's getting confused. Okay, so that's that there. So what we're going to do now is clear ourselves a little space. We'll just shove that over there, and we're going to start putting the cake together. So just moving things out of the way. Put that there. Right, so we're going to put the cake up onto there. What am I doing? No, because I'm going to heat that, I think. So I'll pop that over there. There we go. We've got our cake back into play. Just put that out the way. There we go. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to change my buttercream. Yeah, actually, can you put that over there, Kelly, somewhere? Thank you. So my buttercream is also yellow. So remember that we have this white and pink thing to do tonight. Don't want to do any yellow at all. So I'm going to change the colour of my buttercream. So I will do that now on camera so you can see. Now, when I looked on Sugar and Crumbs tonight before I came on, I saw that Carol didn't have any whitener in stock. She might do, but there wasn't any listed for this particular brand that I've got. However, there is also a fractal white one on there that is a liquid colour. This is the one I've got, which is Wilton White. But you can also use a fractal colour. Now you can see already it's quite yellow. When you find with buttercream, if you really beat it, it does get much whiter anyway, but we're going to help it along by just adding in some white. So I'm just looking for a spatula. Now what I'll do is I'll just keep a little bit of buttercream actually to one side. Kelly, can you just, oh no, actually I need that. I'll put a tiny bit of water in there. Let me just get rid of that. Because it's so cold at the moment, I'm finding that the buttercream is very stiff. So let's just take this down from here. Okay. And we're going to add in the white. Like so. So I'll put some white in. And then I'm going to take my hand whisk here. I'm just going to start to mix this. Now I'm just going to stop that for a minute, and I'm going to add a little bit more white in than I would normally add with something like this. I'd probably accept it now at this stage. However, I do want this to be super white tonight, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Stop that again. So what I did is I kept some of the original yellow on here, so you should be able to see a difference between the two. A little bit of difference might be, there we go, if I pick it up maybe you might see a contrast. There you go. So that was the original colour buttercream, that's where it is now. So the whitener does make a lot of difference, and I find as well, as I'm sure Carol's been through with some of the buttercream groups that she has, that if you add white in, you get sometimes a much truer colour, especially with things like oh, I was trying to think, blue is the worst one, isn't it? When you add blue and cream together, Kelly. Kelly's my queen of colour. If anyone ever needs a colour bit of guidance, Kelly can tell you how to make any colour. Kelly, we need to do a live with you doing colour matching, I think. Oh, I know.
No pressure.
They'd all like to see you, I think, wouldn't they?
What happens if I'm horrific?
You won't be horrific, you're amazing, and she can't move out of my house because she's too good at colour matching. Right, so there you go. So that's the pure white buttercream. It's very white. There you go. And that's what we're going to use to join the cake together. Okay, right, we're going to pipe with that as well, so it's going to have lots of uses. Well, I hope there's going to be enough to pipe with it anyway. I've got backup buttercream in case. So that's whitener. Let's come back on screen for a second. I press the button, there we go. Right, okay, Straight palette knife. What have we got? Let's have a little look. Sorry, my cupboard's down here. Right, here we go. So we're going to attach the transfer sheets with the buttercream, and we're going to put our painted cigarillos in between. Then we're going to pipe the top with the Nifty Nozzles, and then we're going to put the Christmas tree on top. That is the plan. So let's see how that goes. So let's change screen again. Here we are. Right, so what are we doing first? We're going to do the transfers first, aren't we? Oh no, we'll bring these over as well. Right.
Everyone wants me to do a live. I'm taking over. Who's Tracy? It's the Kelly Mann show.
It's the Kelly Mann show. Well, she's good. You're lovely, Kelly, you are.
Well, did you use again to whiten the buttercream?
Right, okay, so let's talk about this whitener again. So if you go on Sugar and Crumbs, you're going to see the product, and he said project then, the product I used tonight was this Wilton Whitener. Now, just before I went live, I did have a look, and there wasn't any on Carol's site. However, there is another version of this which is a fractal colour, which is also a gel called white, so you should be able to use that. So try that instead. Carol may or may not have some more of this coming in, but if she doesn't, then use the white gel that belongs to the fractal colours. That will do the job as well, so be absolutely fine. Right, so let's start with the side of our cake. So all I'm going to do to start with, I'm going to sit down actually, because then I won't be able to fall over, will I? So let's start by just putting on some buttercream to start with. Now it's a square cake, so we need to watch our corners as we go round. Just going to take it across the top a little bit. I'm not going to go across the top much because I'm going to pipe that. Because what I wanted to do was try and create a bit of a snow look, you see, with my Nifty Nozzle. That was the plan anyway. I haven't actually done this cake. This is something that was in our minds. Sorry, let me phrase that. My mind, wasn't it, Kelly? Kelly did last week's cake, so this.
Yeah.
Kelly...
I wasn't smart enough to come up with anything this week. Sorry to disappoint.
Kelly's design was the reindeer cake last week, so if you missed out and you want to go back and watch it, go and have a look on Sugar and Crumbs. Go back on through the lives and you'll find it. It was amazing. It came out really well. So look, there we go. I'm just putting some buttercream on. Like so. Just watching the top there. I'm just going to clip the top so the sponge doesn't lift up more than anything else. Okay, I'll just keep going. If you're doing a cake buttercream, always put the palette knife down. If you do the palette knife this way, you find it tends to tear up the cake, so always turn it that way round, and then it's much easier to do. It can feel a bit cack-handed to start with, but it's definitely the right thing to do. Okay, make your life much easier. And once you've got your buttercream on, then you can start smoothing it out, and then you won't end up with a load of buttercream lifting your cake. We're nearly there on our last.
Everyone was saying how fab the reindeer cake was.
Oh, Kelly.
I was gonna say.
The reindeer cake was fab. It was fab, Kelly. It was. You need to raise your game now, though.
I don't think it would have turned out that way if I had to demo it.
It would have been fine. You're good at painting. You would have been all right. So nearly
I'm not
there.
good with that nozzle though.
Oh no, but you are. You will get there. You will get there.
See, not even the daughter of a cake decorator can pipe that well.
You can, Kelly. You can. You're better than your sister anyway. Don't tell Charlotte. Okay, right, so there we go. We've nearly done it all now. Just put a little bit more on so we can see our cake. There, where's my scraper? So you can always just go round and just make sure that you have got it all nice and square. There we go.
Could you do transfer onto chocolate, you know, regular transfer sheet, but then put it onto fondant? Like, could you? How would you do that?
So the cake is already sugar pasted, is that right?
I guess so.
And then
Buttercream.
And then you can add some buttercream and stick it on that way, if that's what you mean. Yeah.
Or you could just transfer sheet the sugar paste.
Right? Yeah, we could. We haven't got that
But
far.
I should be answering questions.
Yeah.
Don't know about you. I'll be the commentary.
You be the commentary, Kelly. You're doing a good job. She does know actually more than she lets on. It's only because she's seen it over the years, haven't you, Kel?
Yeah.
She's seen years and years. I've been cake decorating, oh my goodness me, years and years before my kids were even born. So they've been brought up with it. They know what everything is, you see.
It's a trick learnt in the womb.
Right, okay, so let's now get this assembled. So we've got it like this at the moment, and what we'll do is we will start with, hopefully with my calculations right, we will start with a pink transfer, a pink cigarillo. I'm trying to think of the word. 2 pink cigarillos there on the end. And then we're going to pop on one of our oh god, I can't think tonight. Transfer sheet. Thank you, Kelly. I know. And then what we'll do is we'll start the other end because we'll want it to be the same. We need to turn that round up the other way. We'll put that like that. Oh, sorry, I've just kicked the camera. There we go. And we'll put that in like that. And then what we'll be able to do is pop in another one of these, which will then tell us how many cigarillos we need in the middle. You see, it's like magic, because then I won't put in too many. So we're going to need 2. So 1 there and 1 there. So there's my calculation and my pattern. Now that should be the same all the way around the cake. So there we go. Let's go round. That's that done there. Let's go round to the next one.
Could you make a chocolate collar and then put it around a fondant cake?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I really don't see why not. No, that should be fine. So this is going round the corner here this time. So we'll start off with 2 again. And pop in our transfer. Actually, the one thing I should have done was clean my board up before I started this. Let me just get a bit of...
You could always put some curls on it.
I could put some curls on it, but I'm not...
Curls mask anything.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just clean it tonight. There we go. That's better. Right, let's carry on. So that's where we've got to so far. A square cake is easier to cut, but lots of people are a bit with square cakes because they can be a bit more tricky to ice. But this works out quite well. It works out quite a nice pattern. And if you don't want to do the sticks in the middle, you can always just do the transfers and nothing else. You can just panel it across. You don't have...
Or just the cigarillos.
Or just the cigarillos, yeah. You don't have to do the transfers either. You can do either or with this. And I'm just going to push that in a little bit further. So we can just adjust it. There we go. Lovely. Right, round we go again. Keep going. So you can see what I mean about the cigarillos. You only needed to paint one side. There's absolutely no point in painting the back of them. So if you're trying to save yourself a bit of time, then you don't need to paint both sides. But when I'm laying out this square cake, if you notice both times I've gone to the other side and work towards the middle to make sure I get it equal. Okay, so don't just sort of work your way across, just try and line them up as best you can. This one is a little bit wider actually, so I'm going to put a 3rd cigarillo in there and ruin my pattern.
Oh, sorry. What size cake is this?
It's a 6-inch, I think. Yeah, it's a 6-inch square cake.
Lovely.
Okay. And there we go. Put a few more in. I'm just counting to make sure I've got enough cigarillos, but I think I have. So we're okay. So in terms of the amount of transfer sheet, it uses about half a sheet to do this size. Obviously, if you do it bigger or smaller, then you will get a different effect. Although this cake's... Oh, what have I done there? Well, that's why. I was thinking that's very wide. I forgot to put the cigarillos in. Around the right way as well, because don't forget they're darker at the bottom, so I've got them facing down like so. Have I got another one? There we go, here's another one. Put that in like that. And then you can get nice sharp corners with these as well. And oh no, that's upside down, that one. Let's put it that way around. Okay, right, and that way around. For some reason I've ended up with 3 on some and 2 on others, so oh, actually that one's going to be a 2, I think. Or is it going to be a 3? I don't know. We'll make it a 3. Yeah, we'll make it a 3. We'll push it over a little bit. There we go. It doesn't matter. It all near enough looks the same. There you go. If you see, if I turn it round there. So my cigarillos, had I done them in yellow, would have been this ghastly yellow colour next to them, which doesn't look very nice at all. You could do with them being painted pink shades there. Right, now let's look at the top half. So let's get the Tulip Nozzle out. And what we're going to do is put in some of this buttercream that we've just whitened. So pop that in there. So this is my snow. See, I'm going to pipe, I could pipe this on the board, Kelly, you know.
Exactly.
I might do that. Okay. Okay, so that's that one coming through there. You can see it, and oh no, you can't because I'm on the wrong camera. It's this camera. I forgot which camera I'm on at the minute. I'm on the side one. So that's the one we're going to be using for the snow. What I might do is switch cameras for this bit so you can see it better under here. Let's change. There we go. Right, let's just move some of this out of the way. I've got stuff everywhere now. Right, Kelly, can you take that for me? There you go, thank you. So we'll put that under there so you can see what's going on. And then what we'll do is we'll start. Now where the tops here are yellow, I can literally just go straight over the top of them like that and cover them up. So there's no need to paint those top bits. It's a waste of time. So I'm going to create some sort of snow type look with this. That's what I was thinking anyway. I was trying to find a nozzle that I thought would kind of best represent snow, and I went for this one. So okay, I might have to just paint the tops of the cigarillos in a couple of places, but genuinely it's not too bad. Okay. Now I didn't do, oh, what you're saying there, pink stripes in the buttercream. You could have done pink stripes in the buttercream. I didn't because I just wanted it to look like snow, and I did wonder if I was going pink overload, and then I thought, well actually is there any such thing as pink overload? Probably not. Yes, this is one of the nicest nozzles that Carol's got on Sugar and Crumbs. It's my favourite. You'll see me using it a lot. It's the Tulip Nozzle, and it's just lovely. It's one of the Russian nozzles. They do a small version of it and a large version of it. Both of them absolutely stunning. Just lovely. Okay, and then we'll go in a bit. Now I'm just concerned I'm now going to be on top of the camera, so I'm just going to turn that a little bit. It's my winter wonderland. Oh, someone's got an idea. Good. So it doesn't take very long. So I just want to point out, I know that I did the Christmas tree in advance, but I only started at, what time did I start? 6:30.
So an hour and a bit ago.
An hour and a bit ago, and we've already constructed this cake near enough. Now, apart from setting the tree, which does take a bit longer, and I had to do it in advance to speed up the process, you can put together this cake very, very quickly. Absolutely, glitter spray, 100%. Get your glitter sprays out on this, as long as they're edible. Definitely use your glitter spray. That would look really good, I think. Okay. Also, I think this looks quite good for like a Christmas present. What do you think, Kelly?
Yeah. Christmas. Someone says that they're going to do this instead of their usual Christmas cake.
Fantastic. The nozzle is a tulip nozzle, if anybody's missed that. I can see one person's made a comment.
And it's the big one.
And it's the large tulip, which is on Sugar and Crumbs. Right, now I'm just going to pipe round the base as well. Now I've got this far, I've decided, although I'm getting in a bit of a muddle here, there we go. Right, so I'm going to change cameras again so you get a better view. And we'll switch to the side camera. There we go. Let's just make sure get any air bubbles out. So I'm just going to pipe around the base. Ooh, my turntable's moving, that's not very helpful.
Can't really. Yeah.
Sorry?
Don't worry.
Right, let me bring this round again because I need to put a bit more buttercream in here. So what I'm trying to do this year on Sugar and Crumbs on Tuesday evenings is give you some different ideas for Christmas. I'm going the non-traditional route. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is show you how to make Christmas cakes that don't look like normal Christmas cakes. So something different, which is why we did the reindeer last week and then we did the gingerbread one the week before. So all sorts of different designs. So it's getting you thinking about Christmas and how to do things slightly differently. But also I think with this design as well, it's very adaptable. You could always do this as a birthday cake, couldn't you? I'm sure lots of you are seeing this and thinking, gosh, that would make a really nice birthday cake just because it's pink really. But also I wanted to do a pink Christmas rather than doing just a normal straightforward colour Christmas. I think everybody starts to think, oh, Christmas, it's red and green and all those colours, and I wanted to do Christmas slightly differently. Yeah, tonight we are using, thank you Kelly, you put that comment up for me.
I spelled tonight wrong, but I've changed it.
Right, so that's that one there, and then where's my tree? Okay, this is the crowning glory of the moment here, so I'm going to now put my tree on. Okay, is it going to go off screen? No, it might do. Let's put my tree on. There we go. I'm going to put my little Christmas tree. Yeah, it has gone off screen a bit. I'm going to just turn my camera up a little bit so you can see. There we go. What I'll do is I'll hold it up in a minute. Well, actually, I'll take it off turntable because it's on the turntable. Let me just move that out of the way. Pop this down. Boop. There we go. And then you can see it in its glory. There you go. So that is my Christmas snowflake Christmas tree cake. So something completely different. Snowflakes here, Christmas tree here, just something completely different. And I just wanted to say that as I'm aiming to show you lots and lots of different things rather than using a more traditional look. I think this looks like a bit of a pink winter wonderland, and that's what I wanted you to see happen tonight. Something completely different. The tree is fabulous. Now you can also, as well, if you want to, you can sprinkle it with icing sugar or glitter. So if you want the tree to look like it's actually in a winter wonderland, you can. I'm just sprinkling a little bit of icing sugar over it now. So you can always sprinkle a little bit of icing sugar to create some snow, or you can spray it with glitter. Now remember what I said earlier, I will put this on my Instagram page because I understand it, obviously it's quite difficult sometimes to see these cakes on camera, so I will put it on there at the end so you'll be able to see it. All right, I'm going to pick it up in a minute. I hope I don't end up throwing it down myself, but I will pick it up so you can see. Hold on. Right, okay, moment of glory here. It's the tree mainly. Right, okay, here we go. Right, there it is. That is our pink and white Christmas winter wonderland cake. So there you go. So that's something completely different for you to have a look at tonight. So I'm going to put it on my Instagram page, which is coming up now, Tracy Mann Cakes. I will take a photograph of it and put it up in the next, either today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. So you can have a closer look at it. It's nice to see it done live, but it's also quite nice to see a picture of it as well at the end. So there we go. Nozzles, Buttercream, Whitener, cocoa butter, some of the colours. Ruby chocolate you will find on Carol's site, and on my site you will find the transfer sheets, and you will find the Christmas tree mould as well. So if you want to have a go at doing this, then you are very welcome. Don't forget to like and share before you disappear tonight and go and watch the Great British Bake Off. I'm standing here holding this thinking, gosh, this is actually quite heavy. Let me hold it down there a little bit so you can see. I hope that I'm going to move in a little bit closer so you can see just how lovely this is. And actually, these match these as well. So the little snowflakes on here match your tree. So think about it when you're putting the whole concept together. If you want to do holly transfers, have some holly on your tree. Just think about the whole thing. Or if you've got stars on here, because we do a star one as well, you can put stars on your Christmas tree. So really think about your design before you get going. But I've given you some food for thought with ruby chocolate and snowflake transfer sheets tonight. And as I say, I think you'll agree it is a really pretty cake, and something that would be yeah, don't drop it, would be a lovely thing to do for Christmas. So I'm going to put it down now. Picture will appear on my Instagram. Thank you very much for watching this evening. It's always lovely to be here on Tuesday evenings. If you want to find out where I am, that is my website, tracyscakes.co.uk. You can always find me also on Instagram as well. Don't forget to like and share for tonight, please. That would be great. Thank you very much for that. It's been lovely to be here. I will be back again on Thursday mornings. For those of you that normally tune in and see me on Thursday mornings, I will be there at 11:30, and I have got a brand new Christmas project for you, and there is a lovely offer coming up. So if you are thinking I would like to do another Christmas project, there is a lovely offer coming this week, so please stay tuned, watch your emails, keep an eye on the site, because this brand new project is coming out and it will be on offer until Monday morning. So very exciting, and I'm sure that you will love it. All my cake painters out there, this is for you. You're going to love it. It's great. So thank you very much. Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
She's having a little sleep over there. We've got to get back for the Bake Off, you see. So have a lovely evening watching the Bake Off. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will be back again at 11:30 on Thursday morning. And I will also be back here again at 6:30. If you missed out, then watch this on catch up and you will be able to see the whole demonstration again. So take care, have a lovely evening, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.